Alright folks, we did it. We're here. We started. Where are we exactly? On top of a dragon. Nah, not that dragon. It's House of the Dragon, baby. We out. And we starting like this. What's up? I'm Wavy. We gonna sink our teeth in some dragon steak for real. Let's get it. Alright, we start things off with a council meeting to choose a successor for the king that's old as dust. This man lost both of his sons, so now he's got to choose between his literal daughter and his nephew. And because, this is the medieval times, they're gonna choose the man, the nephew. And his daughter's mad as fuck about this. And now the king making this decision thought that it wasn't gonna cause any conflict in his family, but boy was he wrong. Alright, let's get a 9-year time skip in. For all of my Game of Thrones fans, this is about 170 years before the birth of the dragon mother Daenerys. So Viss has been king for almost a decade. Our first look at a dragon in this series is with our main character Rhaenyra. They're flying back from wherever the fuck, probably killed a sheep, goat, something, I don't even know. Not even gonna lie though, from what I've seen so far VFX wise, these dragons look pretty tough. Just thinking back to Game of Thrones, when they introduced all 3 of Rhaenyra's dragons, they looked exactly the same. They just had 3 different colors. They really upped the budget for this one. Alright, let's get back to the story. This dragon we learned is named Syrax, Rhaenyra's dragon. Cool, time to get back into town, meet some more characters, you know the vibes. Rhaenyra meets with her very pregnant mother, Queen Aemma. She's with her best friend Alicent Hightower. Rhaenyra's annoyed that nobody's taking care of her mom and everyone's just focused on the baby in her belly. And Aemma lets her know, shit, you're gonna have to be in this same spot too in a couple of years. The men's battlefield is outside and the women's battlefield is baby making. Rhaenyra ain't trying to hear any of that shit though. She's trying to hop on a dragon's back and start torching shit. Time for the obligatory meeting, cause what else is the king doing for real? While these mans are cracking jokes, the only Negro in there is trying to get straight to business. His name? Corlys Velaryon, the sea snake. Oh, white dreads having ass nigga. But for real, the Velaryon house is an ancient house as old, if not older than the Targaryens, and one of the only other houses capable of riding dragons. Now he has smoke with these 3 cities calling themselves the Triarchy, a bunch of pirates looting and plundering, and at the top of the Triarchy is a man they call the Crab Feeder. Y'all will see why soon though. Rhaenyra pulls up to the meeting late as fuck cause she's fresh off of Dragonback, and she has one of the stupidest jobs in the meeting. She's the fucking cupbearer. Low key is the best job if you're trying to soak up information though. Shout out to Arya Stark. A man like Beesbury is trying to get the king to get his bro in check, but the king knows that his bro's about shit, so he just shut Beesbury down same time. Corlys, trying to get back to pressing matters, mentions that if the Triarchy starts fucking with the stepping stones, they're gonna get no shipping, which can fuck with the ports. Finally, the biggest bozo of them all speaks. Otto Hightower, the king's hand, and he shuts Corlys down, the dumbest move I've seen so far. Corlys looking at the king like, you really gonna let your man say this shit? Now Bozo Hightower's trying to talk tournaments and shit. Meanwhile, these niggas are literally losing shipping lanes, which could cut off mad resources, but fuck it, I guess it's tournament time. They want to have a tournament because these guys think that the king is finally having his first boy. See, the king has no male heir for whenever his rule is over. Rhaenyra's in the cut like,
it should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
They have no way of knowing if the child is gonna be a boy or a girl. But fuck it, if the king says it's a boy, then it's a boy. Now it's time to meet one of the coldest. Brother of the king, commander of the city watch, Daemon Targaryen. And of course, my guy is sitting on the Iron Throne like a true king. Rhaenyra meets up with him and asks him why he's back in the city. My guy said he's back because he heard that the king is having a tournament for him. He's tough. He brought a necklace for Rhaenyra. And of course, if George R.R. Martin has anything to do with it, there will be incest. And we get some weird sexual tension from the two. They're literal uncle and niece, but I guess. Alicent and Rhaenyra start to get to talking about the baby the queen is about to have. Rhaenyra seems a little stressed about it, but she's overall happy if everyone gets what they want. She's just trying to fly dragons and make sure that her mom's good. They're in front of some weird ass tree that looks like it's staring right at them. We're probably gonna have to come back to that later. Cut to the evening, the king is in his chambers with two maesters. A maester is pretty much like a scientist, doctor, scholar, pretty much anything non-combat they can do. King has some nasty scab on his back. Man said he got cut while he was sitting on his throne. That's a bad omen. The maesters have tried everything, but the cut still won't heal. The king goes to see his wife for a little parlay, and the king expresses a dream that he has. He says that his boy would be born wearing the crown of kings. Targaryen dreams hold weight, so this could definitely happen. Emma, raising some concerns, is hoping that this is her last time giving birth. She's had 1 miscarriage, 2 stillbirths, and 2 that ended way before term. She's lost 5 kids in total. Rhaenyra is pretty much a miracle. Time for the commander of the city watch to take action. Bare fuckery been going on in the city, and it's time to get to some straightening. Just know, say, if you're caught stealing, your hands are getting chopped off. If you're caught doing some R-word-ish, boom, dick off. And if you're caught killing somebody, well, your head is off. The city watch, no joke. And guess what? Otto tells the king everything his bro did last night and tries to get the king to calm him down. Damien looks at Otto and pretty much tells him to eat dick. The city was being ran to the ground and he did something about it. It is what it is. And real nigga Corlys agrees. Otto looks at Damien and says, listen man, you gotta go deal with your wife cause y'all been married and you haven't been around for real.
In the Vale, men are said to fuck sheep instead of women. I can assure you, the sheep are prettier.
Damien shuts that shit up and responds, my wife smirked, and I'm not trying to deal with that. But if you want to have a crack at it, you can go ahead. I know your wife's gone, so you need somebody to warm that bed. Otto, now visibly upset, gets up like he's really about to do something. But the king shuts that goofy down and tells him to stop the foolishness. We got a meeting to get into. The king tells his bro to enforce the rules, yes, but you can't be going as OD as you did last night. You're gonna make the whole crown look crazy. We're 20 minutes into the first episode and there's already fucking. Damien, of course, is in what looks like a brothel, failing miserably to pipe out Shorty. We later find out is Mysaria? Whatever. Man's having performance issues because he thinks he's about to lose the throne to a newborn. The baby isn't even born yet, my boy, relax. Yup, y'all know what time it is. Tournament time. Let's get a quick head count. King, check. Corlys, check. Rhaenys, check. Otto, little bitch ass, check. Alicent, check. By the way, Otto is Alicent's father, if that wasn't apparent. Rhaenyra, check. We don't know the rest yet. Notice, no Damien. You know it ain't no tournament without some jousting. And one of the jousters caught Rhaenyra's eye, Sir Kristen Cole. Common-born young bull trying to make it out the mud for real, dropping folks off horses, all that. We ain't seen Damien cause, yeah, he's in the tournament. That nigga's with all the squabbles. If hands are being exchanged, expect Damien to be the middleman. Damien picks out his first meal. He wants Hightower to smoke on. Remember, Otto is Hightower and he does not fuck with Otto. So any Hightower blood is fuel. And it just so happens that Otto's eldest son is in the tournament. Free smoke for Damien. Everyone's looking around like, damn, Damien's about to put Buddy in a backwood. First round, Hightower gets the upper hand. Damien, cheesed at this point, decides to trip the horse on the next round, dropping the Hightower boy. Damien asks for Alicent's favor for smoking her brother. Man's mad devious for that still. From what I can tell, when somebody asks for favor, pretty much means that they're asking for their respect or sometimes love, but in this case, it's just pure disrespect. Remember, the man's battlefield is outside, the woman's battlefield, baby making. And while this dumbass tournament is going on, the queen is literally trying to push a baby out of her. The queen's having a lot of trouble, so the king decides to leave the tournament to come support her. She's really struggling at this point, damn near yelling bloody murder. They've given her all the drugs they can, a little milk of the poppy, and nothing is helping. She's fighting, but neither her or the baby is winning. Meanwhile, the tournament has turned into carnage. Flails and hands being tossed, faces getting cut up, all that. Rhaenys ain't phased though. Apparently this is nothing compared to King Maegor's rule. Y'all gonna have to do your Googles to find out who that is. Emma's starting to fade, and the maesters let the king know that he's gonna have to make an extremely hard choice. The life of his wife, the heir to his throne or lose both. At this point, the king's probably thinking to himself, well, damn Emma, you failed me 5 times already and you're about to fail again. I might love you, but god damn I need that heir. You know the choice he's about to make. He says his last goodbyes to his queen as they hold her down and get ready to cut the baby out of her. Medieval C-section is 100% fatal? Yeah, 100% fatal to a woman giving birth. No anesthesia, no putting her to sleep, just pure pain. They're able to get the baby out, but of course we lose the queen. She does, however, end up giving birth to a baby boy. Not even gonna lie, y'all are gonna have to watch the series to feel the gravity of what just happened. My clips are not gonna do this scene justice at all. It's completely wild. Meanwhile, the main joust is about to begin. Christian Cole versus real nigga Damon, and Cole is cooking Damon. So Damon wants to go hands-on, fuck all that horse shit, take this sword goofy, but Cole gets the upper hand and forces Damon to yield. That boy got hands. Cole is on head tops. The tournament ends and we cut to a funeral being held for Queen Emma, but to our surprise, we also see a baby. The baby didn't make it after the birth, so on this day, the king ended up losing both the love of his life and the heir to his throne. We gotta pour one out for him for real. I know he's in shambles, and Rhaenyra is in shambles as well, losing the mother she only wanted to protect.
Dracarys!
Rhaenyra says to her dragon, and the bodies are put to the flame. After all that, you know what time it is. Meeting time. We gotta discuss what the fuck just happened. The first thing Otto's trying to talk about is the king's succession. This man just lost his queen and his heir, and you want to talk about succession. Otto's a sick nigga. Why you think I called him a bozo during his introduction? Corlys is saying what everyone's thinking. The only real heir now is his brother, Daemon. Rhaenyra's giving the side eye like, wow, they really counted me out. Otto's talking grease about Daemon, alluding to him killing the king once he's named heir, but his broski isn't trying to hear any of that. That's his kin, he's gonna ride for his brother. He know his bro won't do something so foul. Daemon may not be at the meeting, but that doesn't mean the man isn't listening. We pan to him behind a wall, listening to everything these mans had to say, which makes you think, for all those times that he hasn't been to the meeting, has he just been sitting behind a wall? Otto then says something very interesting. This is a direct quote too.
The gods have yet to make a man who lacks the patience for absolute power, your grace.
Nah, with that alone as a king, I think Otto's on some shiesty type of timing. I'd rip that king hand's pin off his shirt so fast, like give me that. Otto, by no means necessary, is trying to see Daemon on the throne, so he suggests Rhaenyra, and of course, the whole council lets off an audible groan. Corlys offers up his wife, Rhaenys, the queen who never was. She already has a claim to the throne and has a male heir, so it'd be better if she was made to rule and then just passed it down to her son. The king's finally had enough, and he yells that both his wife and his son are dead, and all these goofs are worried about who's gonna be next up, and he storms out the meeting. Otto, being the sickest nigga out there, bozo status for real, tells his daughter to go put on one of her mother's dresses and go check on how the king is doing, aka go warm that nigga's bed. This nigga just offered up his daughter. I'm sick. Otto's the sickest nigga. Alicent does whatever her father tells her to do and goes to the king, attempting to comfort him. The king has a tougher setup in his chambers. Man has a sculpting of his kingdom that he's been doing himself. Damien in a brothel, of course, feeling himself since he's the only heir left to the throne, starts talking shit, calls the baby boy the heir for a day, shit like that. And Otto, being the informant that he is, tells the king everything, and the king is fucking irate. The king calls his brother down to the throne room, and for the first time this episode, we actually see the king sitting on his throne.
The heir for a day. Did you say it?
The king says to his brother in absolute disgust. The king is mad as fuck at this point, starts barking at his brother. He tells his brother, I'm the only one that fucks with you for real, and you're gonna say that about my son? Damien lets the king know that he's been casted out so many times. Remember that wife that he hates? Or that city watch that he's in charge of? All because of the king. He's been king for 10 years and not once has he asked his brother to be his hand. Instead, he has this goofy nigga Otto as his right hand man. Just like that, the king has decided on a new heir and ordered his brother back to Runestone. That's where his wife be at. He's not having any of that disrespect. As Damien leaves, the throne slices the king. Now that's definitely a bad omen. The king calls Rhaenyra down to the basement of the castle, where this big ass dragon head is mounted. That, my friends, is Balerion the Dread. He asks his daughter, what does she see when she looks at the dragon? She tells him she sees them. Without the dragons, they'd be like everybody else. The king tells her that the idea that they control dragons is an illusion, which is actually pretty important and probably going to come back to that later in the series. The king apologizes to his daughter for not realizing that he had an heir this entire time and officially names his daughter Rhaenyra Targaryen, heir to the Iron Throne. The king holds a high council and has every main house bend the knee to his new heir. The king tells Rhaenyra about the impending doom. Just as his ancestors foresaw the doom of Valyria, King Aegon foresaw the end of the world, starting with a terrible winter coming from the north. And when that winter comes, there needs to be a Targaryen on the throne to unite all kingdoms to fight against the cold and the darkness. Aegon called this the Song of Ice and Fire. It's a secret passed down only to the heirs of the Iron Throne. All Game of Thrones fans knows exactly what he's talking about.